Are you ready, sir?
Last in.
Town Attorney, are you ready? Yes, sir. Madam Clerk, are you ready? All right, good
Nobody's in the
evening.
middle.
It is 7 o'clock. We will reconvene the Parker Town Council meeting for April the 7th, 2025. First up, if you please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome, the largest chaparral class we've ever seen. Thank you guys for coming tonight. Appreciate your involvement and interest in local government. It means a lot that you guys are here. This is the government that affects you the most and affects you the most often, so I'm very, very glad you guys are here. And then we have another side over here, our wonderful volunteers. I mean, just amazing. So this is a great room. Tonight, first in front of you is...
Tom. We got Tom.
We got Tom, yes, Tom,
Right
the videographer extraordinaire. Excuse
Helping
me.
us out.
Tonight, the first thing in front of this town council is public comments. No action will be taken on these items. Public comment is an opportunity for town residents and other interested individuals to speak about items that are not on the agenda. This comment period is limited to 30 minutes of total time, with each individual allowed a maximum of 3 minutes to speak. You must sign up ahead of time in order to comment, and that sign up begins 30 minutes before the start of the meeting. The town council will accommodate as many speakers as possible during this time with preference to town residents. But if public comment extends beyond the allotted 30 minutes, town council will continue the comment period at the end of the meeting. Prior to adjourning for those who have signed up before the meeting. As any matters raised by individuals during public comment are not on the agenda, and other potentially interested parties would not therefore be aware of discussion on these matters, the town council will not engage in dialogue regarding any items raised during public comment. With that, I understand that no one has signed up on the paper for public comment. Do I have anybody in the room wishing to address their town council this evening? Seeing none, we will open and close public comment at 7:02 p.m. Moving on, reports and items and comments from mayor and town council. Shall we start with Mr. Hendricks, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Nothing to report.
Excellent. Ms. Barrington.
I was out of town all last week, so nothing to report. Thank you.
Ms. Wolf.
I have lots. So on March 25th, I met with the director of the Division of Criminal Justice for Colorado to talk about things that happened when I was in D.C. for the public safety and crime prevention. So it was good just to get a feel for where we're at on state stuff, especially when I'm working on federal stuff as well. On March 26th, I had the honor of speaking at Chaparral for their government classroom to do a presentation on what it is for the local government. Little tiny background on me. I was the first graduating class at Chaparral, so you guys are my people. So that was wonderful to get to be a part of. On April 2nd, I attend the Parker Chamber of Commerce Government Affairs Committee meeting where they worked on civic engagement for future development. And I did not participate myself, but it was great to see where all of the people, I think there was like 25 people in the room, where they were interested in having different developments and what that looked like. And so it was good that they've got that going, and I know they're going to do a few more of those. On April 3rd, I attended the Parker Chamber of Commerce Networking Appreciation event at the Parker Harley-Davidson, which was just really cool. And it was great to see all of the small business owners there and people in Parker. And then we got awesome swag. We got a Harley-Davidson hat. So thank you to Harley-Davidson for hosting that and for the chamber as well.
Excellent. Thank you. Mr. Dyack.
Thank you very much. I attended the Douglas County Transportation Forum. The Douglas County Transportation Forum is sort of a carve-out of the Denver Regional Council of Governments, Dr. Cog, which I've been a board member on for many years here. We talked about the Douglas County Link expansion into Highlands Ranch and a very, very brief 2050 transportation plan update. I believe that was the Dr. Cog 2050 transportation plan update. And that is all.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Franzen.
Thank you. Nothing to report.
And lastly, Ms. Hefta, please.
Yes, I sit on a couple of private boards. One is the Heroes Hall Foundation here that is seeking to build a $15 million building on the Douglas County Fairgrounds. So I did attend that meeting as a veteran myself this week. I also talked to numerous residents that had some issues with the town and forwarded those issues to the town. Sometimes in our community, residents will meet you and they'll say, hey, I can't get this done. And as the elected official, you listen to what they have to say, and then you forward it to our town manager so she can disperse it to the correct departments, because the staff in our town solves these problems, not the elected officials. So that's just a little tidbit there for our class for Chaparral. And then I sit on another board called the Parker Faith Council. And we are delighted, as a board member, I sit on that, to host the mayor on April 29th at the Pace Center at 6 o'clock, if you would like to all come, in a building to hear about the mayor, our own Mayor Rivero here, his vision for collaboration with nonprofits in our community. And so if you can make that, that'd be wonderful, if anyone wants to make that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hefta. All right, for myself, I just lost my notes, so bear with me here. Let's see, on the 26th, we had partnership with Douglas County Governments right over here at the Pace Center. That is a every other month meeting that we get together. It's elected officials from municipalities, the county, with fire districts are there, school districts are there, library districts are there, and we just chat about everything and anything Douglas County. Very good meeting, and of the honor this year of holding the gavel. So I am the chair of the partnership, and that will get passed next year. And then we had a Douglas County mayors and managers meeting on Tuesday the 1st. And then the next morning, the mayors got back into a car and commuted down to the Metro Mayors Caucus. That is a caucus of 38 Metro mayors throughout the Denver region. We represent all the cities and towns that are in the Denver metro area, and we get together every month and chat about all things municipal. So that was another great meeting. Talked about legislative issues, talked about Secretary of State, the integrity of Colorado elections, and then talked about our 150th for the state of Colorado and 250th for the union, and doing something next year for those here in Colorado. So very excited about that, and that is all I have. All right, Council, next in front of you is consent agenda. Consent agenda items are considered to be routine and will be enacted with one motion and one vote. There will be no separate discussion on consent agenda items unless council votes to remove an item for individual discussion. Ordinances on consent agenda are for introduction only and will not be removed for discussion. Council, I would entertain a motion on consent agenda items A through J, please.
I move to approve consent agenda items A through J.
Thank you. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion from Wilkes, a second from Hendricks. Hendricks?
Yes.
Barrington? Yes. Wilkes?
Aye.
Dyak?
Yes.
Franzen?
Yes.
Hefta?
Yes.
Consent agenda passes unanimously. Next in front of you are resolutions. Item 5, resolution number 25-014, a resolution to appoint one regular member to fill a vacancy on the Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Advisory Commission, or PROS as we call it, to appoint a chair. Who do we have? Mary. Yes. Okay, and Megan.
So excited.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We are here seeking approval on a resolution to appoint a regular member to fill a vacancy on the Parks and Recreation and Open Space Advisory Commission, as well as appoint a new chair. Heather Bennett, one of the original commission members and the current chair, was serving a 3-year term set to expire December 2025. However, she has submitted her resignation, leaving her seat vacant for the remainder of the term. She's actually a new employee. Following interviews conducted by council members Barrington and Franson, along with Brenda Mooney and Mary Colton, it is recommended that Heather Crosby be appointed to fill the vacant seat. Additionally, it is recommended that Matthew Lunn be appointed to serve as the chair, pending council approval. Staff recommends approving resolution number 25-014.
Thank you, Megan. We'll start with questions. Councilwoman Hefta?
No questions, actually. Thank you.
Eric?
No questions.
John?
No questions.
Brandy? Ann?
I was part of the process, so actually I'm going to save this for my comments. Thanks.
I was waiting for it.
Todd?
I got nothing.
All right, council, we'll go back in the same order. Any comments?
You know, we have a wonderful Parks and Rec department and a wonderful commission as well. So thank you all for coming tonight. Appreciate it.
And I apologize, I'm going to pause right there, but if you guys wouldn't mind, especially Heather, would you come down and introduce yourself?
We're going to give you a test on Parks and Recs.
No, just there to the podium there.
The better point would be to challenge her to a race.
And I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but not everybody in this room knows how great you are and how much of a community volunteer you are. I have the honor of being a neighbor of Heather's, and my kids went to school with her kids, and so she's amazing. Please take it away.
Thank you. I've been a resident of Parker for almost 15 years now. Participated in a number of the Parker Recs programs from, like the mayor said, from the time my child was a toddler to now as a freshman at Legend. And got a great understanding and appreciation for the Parks and Recs department. I live right off the trail, so I participate in exercise on the trails on a daily basis, as well as getting my dogs exercise as well. So I really appreciate this community, and I look forward to being a part of it and hoping to make the Parker Recs in the open space areas with great projects, enhancing them and being part of a great team.
Excellent. Thank you. Forgot to mention she also owns an Aussie like me, so yeah, that's two Aussies. Touche. Thank you, Heather. Very much appreciate it. Next, I'd like to open public comment at 7:12. Anybody wishing to address the council about this resolution? Seeing none, we'll close public comment at 7:12 and now bring it back to comments. Councilwoman Hefta, anything to add to your previous recorded?
I really don't have anything to add. I just appreciate the hard work of our dedicated volunteers who are not paid, who are great citizens that volunteer to serve on this, their own time. And of course, our wonderful Parks and Rec staff with Mary Colton. Under her leadership, we flourish in this town. Our Parks and Recs flourishes. So thank you for your leadership, Mary.
Thank you, Eric. Any comments?
So just some brief comments. I had the honor of getting to interview, and it was very apparent Heather was the right fit. So this is, so thankful that you accepted the role, and thank you to everybody who's volunteering and helping serve. I mean, you guys are instrumental in helping us continue to build and stabilize. Stabilize is the wrong word. That's the wrong word. help build and make our parks better. So thank you guys all for everything you guys are doing and will continue to do.
Councilman Dyak?
Yeah, no. I mean, I think through the conversations, again, I think all of us have been part of these interview processes. We all look toward each other to go through this process, find the right person, and 9.5 for probably 10 times out of 10, it absolutely is. So again, thank you for your efforts and giving your time to us, and appreciate it.
Thank you. Brady?
So it's no secret that Parker loves our parks, recs, and open space. So when we have a group of individuals who love it as much as we do and as much as our citizens do come together to kind of mastermind and bring ideas that, we might not see and we might not be aware of, it really makes me happy. So thank you to each one of you for taking the time to do that. I know we all have insanely busy lives, so it's very much appreciated.
Thank you. Ann?
So, again, I was I was on the panel, and it's nice to see you because we were having some technical difficulties that day. But it was a unanimous decision, and we just felt that Heather was a great candidate, for several reasons, but just because she is such an extremely active user of our parks and trail systems and our town-owned facilities. She can give a firsthand knowledge. She can bring that to this council, or to the PROS Commission, excuse me. And I also love the fact that she not only has participated in multiple town races, but she also usually, or always, wins. Her age category, at least, I think that's what I've been hearing. So, but again, this just brings an informed and unique perspective for her appointment. And then also having the opportunity to meet with Matt a few months back makes me feel confident that he's going to be a great fit for chair. And so I'm glad that just to see the continuity, and I think he will bring great leadership, and I think he's a great fit. So thank you all for doing what you do, and we appreciate having you.
Todd?
Just thank you for stepping up and volunteering for your town.
Yeah, I personally thank you. I walked out of the little room, and there was Heather, and in my mind, it immediately went that she was here with the school, because that's just what she does. And then I realized as she was standing next to our fellow commissioners, like, oh my gosh, she's the one that got selected for pros. So again, my heart skipped a beat again, so I am so very happy that you'll be able to contribute even more than you already have to our Parks Department. So thank you very much. With that, council, I'd entertain a motion on said resolution.
I move to approve Resolution 25-014 as part of the regular agenda.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Barrington, a second from Franzen. Todd?
Yes.
Ann?
Yes.
Brandy?
Aye.
John?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
And that resolution passes unanimously. Congratulations.
All right. The next item is a public hearing. Before we get to that, we have some business before we get to that. I have a statement. At the opening of tonight's Town Council meeting on April 7th, 2025, Mayor Joshua Rivero disclosed that he was a business tenant in a building that is owned and managed by 20 Mile Central LLP, a business that has owners in common to the individuals who own the Parker Main Street Exchange building. Based on Mayor Rivera's disclosure, the Town Council determined that a conflict of interest existed, and Mayor Rivera is disqualified from participating in any manner before the Town Council concerning the tax and fee assistance program item on tonight's agenda related to the Parker Main Street Exchange building. Additionally, at the opening of the January 21st, 2025 Town Council meeting, Councilmember Brandy Wilkes disclosed that she officed in the building that was the subject of an executive session discussion item that evening, which was related to the tax and fee assistance program application for the Parker Main Street Exchange building. Based on Councilmember Wilkes' disclosure, the Town Council determined that a conflict of interest existed, and Councilmember Wilkes is disqualified from participating in any manner before the Town Council concerning the tax and fee assistance program application and potential agreements related to the Parker Main Street Exchange building. Mayor Rivera, Councilmember Wilkes, was unable to attend the January 21st, 25 meeting, and tonight's meeting is the first time this has come before him on any agenda. No, I think that's right. Mayor Rivera was unable to attend the January 21st, 2025 meeting, and tonight's meeting is the first time this item has come before him on any agenda. The public hearing on tonight's Town Council meeting agenda titled Tax and Fee Assistance Program Agreement for Parker Main Street Exchange is within the scope of the disqualification. As a result, Mayor Rivera and Councilmember Wilkes will not be participating in this Town Council meeting item and will leave the chamber, the council chambers for this item. And for the record, Mayor Rivera and Councilmember Wilkes have left the chambers. And with that, I'd like to come to the next meeting, the next item, which again is public hearing, Tax and Fee Assistance Program Agreement for Parker Main Street Exchange. We will open the public meeting at 7:18. Ms. Fazell.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. Tonight we have the Tax and Fee Assistance Program Agreement for Parker Main Street Exchange. They filed an application late last year for assistance, and I'll kind of describe the project and we'll go through how it meets the criteria, and then the assistance that's recommended by staff and in the agreement for approval tonight. This is for the property located at 19590 East Main Street, also known as the Exchange Building. This property was built in the early 1980s and is currently 100% office used. The property ownership would like to convert this building into a mixed-use building with ground floor retail instead of offices on the ground floor, and then have offices still above, so it'll still be a commercial property. However, given the age of this building, property codes have changed and they're triggering a whole lot of code things with this project. Just to go over some of the list, the building does not have fire alarm or sprinklers. It has inadequate ADA access internally throughout the building and externally. The parking lot design is obsolete. The sidewalks around and the landscape areas are dated, and they're also missing fire hydrants. And then you have some visible gas and water meters along Main Street. That is not part of the town design standards anymore. And if they would like to add a restaurant to the space, there's no grease traps or any infrastructure. So there's a lot of fun stuff, like no plazas, no real great lighting around the building that can be fixed, as well as some cosmetic things. It should be said, this building is doing fine financially. However, it's this extra expense to take non-sales tax generating space and turn it into sales tax generating space, benefiting not only the town, but also the property owners. And additionally, they are planning on enclosing the 1,400 square foot old drive-through from when it was a bank. I don't know when it was a bank last, not as long as I've been in the town, so over 20 years. And that will also be a retail space, and then converting that corner that the chamber used to occupy into a restaurant. About 3,000 square feet is their plan. So with all of that, we'll go through the criteria because that's the project description. So the section of code 4.0209 has a whole list of options that make this eligible. There is no, you have to meet a minimum or anything like that of the list, but here are the items that made it eligible after staff review. Utilization of existing buildings, the representation of redevelopment into the area or town, the creation or enhancement of a unique and vibrant downtown, the contribution to the diversity of retail or the diversity of jobs or employment opportunities in the town, and bringing a value-added result to the town or the development within the town. So economic development staff did review the application, deemed it complete. However, I will say this is slightly different than what we've seen historically. Usually this program is for new development. So this is one of the few times we get to use it for redevelopment. So it is a good way to use funds to expand our retail, shopping, and dining opportunities in downtown using our existing buildings. The beautification elements for the site, the infrastructure, all those code changes that are required to get it up to code to make this mixed use change are all the expenses that were eligible as part of this. The entire project to do this is about $1.2 million. They are not seeking relief on the entirety of the project costs, just those ones that were eligible within the criteria. It is estimated that the new space will generate about $44 million, almost $45 million over 10 years in sales tax. So with that, or that's a sales, I'm sorry, $45 million in sales, resulting in about $1.3 million in sales tax to the town. 0.5 of that is dedicated to Parks and Rec, so the amount that we have available for reimbursement is about $1.1 million. So staff is recommending that we reimburse 50% of the sales tax generated over a 10-year period. That would be the maximum time the agreement would go, and a maximum dollar amount of $600,000. I'm happy to answer any questions, and the property owner is here as well.
All right, council, let's first go with questions for Weldy. Councilmember Hefton.
So how long have you been studying this issue overall? When did this come to your office?
This came to our office, I want to say September-ish. Does that sound right? Yeah, late or early fall.
Okay. And you touched upon a really good point about I've seen this program used for new development before, and could you just tell us what new developments in town this program has been used for recently for new developments?
New developments, gosh, it's had several iterations as long as the town's been around, but I'm going to say there is not a major shopping center in Parker that has not utilized this program or its previous version. So all the grocery stores, those shopping centers, we have a similar program for shopping centers now that's slightly different. Lowe's, Stroh Ranch, King Supers. I mean, it's been a very beneficial program for Parker to help grow our commercial and retail base throughout the town.
And right, and then the tax and fee assistance program located at 4.02.02 in our Parker ordinances
Correct.
also allows existing developments to apply for this as well.
Correct. That was one of the criteria to be eligible for this was the redevelopment or utilizing existing buildings.
And from your deep review of this, you believe this meets all the criteria of that particular ordinance?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Councilmember Franson.
So, Weldy, can you remind me, is there any sales tax being generated from this property right now?
No, there's not.
There's none. How are the improvements going to be funded, right? There's all these improvements that we listed. How are those funded up front?
I would have to let you talk to the property owner, but they pay for the entire project up front, essentially. And then as they generate sales tax, they're reimbursed on a quarterly basis. So they are still putting forward all the capital and all the costs to slowly get some of it paid back over time. So it is, based on their performance is how they get paid. So it's in their best interest, too, to convert these to sales tax generating uses to maximize this agreement.
Perfect. And so if they don't, they're under no obligation to do anything.
No. But
And such that, I got to figure out how to ask this as a question. Right, are they under obligation to do anything here?
they are not under obligation. However, if they are not generating sales tax, then there's no money to reimburse. So it is really, you get paid based on your performance. So if they don't convert, there's nothing sales tax to be generated and shared back. So
Perfect. So this is this costing the town any money today?
it is not. It is not any money we are getting today, and it's reimbursing new sales tax that we may get in the future, and then it only gets paid if those sales taxes are actually generated.
That's perfect. That's all I had. Thank you.
Councilmember Barrington.
So you mentioned the code doesn't require a project to have a certain number of public benefits to qualify.
Correct.
But from what I was hearing, every single criteria.
Not every. These are the ones out of the list. I think there's a lot, like maybe 12
Okay,
in there.
so I'm
I don't
looking at
remember
5
the
right
exact
here.
number, but they hit quite a few of them, yes.
Yeah, okay. And then, so as Councilmember Franson mentioned, just to reiterate, are there any risks for the town right now? Because if they don't
They
make
don't
anything,
do it,
or
we
if they
don't pay. Nope.
Okay, so it sounds like it's a win-win?
I think it's a win-win for the town and for the property owner, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Hendricks.
No questions, thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to invite the owner to come up. Any statements? And we may have a few questions for you as well. That's right. Big time questions.
How's it going?
Good.
So I'll just,
Name for the record. I'm sorry. We should probably formalize this, Tony.
Tony Mango, 8632 Thunderbird Road, Parker.
Thank you.
Colorado. So I'm the manager, part owner of Parker Main Street Exchange. And just some history, too, to expand on what Weldy was saying. We bought the building in 2019. It's been office, I think, forever, so since the 80s. The building's okay. There's really not a big reason to take risk. And the challenges with this project, I think everyone agrees, we have a commitment to downtown. more retail, more shopping, more restaurants. I think everyone's on the same page. The challenge with this project, though, is it's not a new building. We're not creating square footage. We are creating the drive-through square footage, but for the most part, all we're doing is converting square footage that we already receive rent on today. So you invest in a project, there's not that much of an ROI in that investment. So this really does help the group. And again, it's no risk. We basically we've become a commission-only salesperson for you guys. Every dollar we make, we're going to make you $1. If we don't make $1, then it doesn't cost you $1. But the project, since 2019, we had to spend about 2 years just figuring out what was in the building. There was no architectural plans, there was no records, anything. The building department was very helpful, but we basically had to recreate the wheel. Several variations of design, what to do, that type of stuff. But we think we're there. They were actually spray painting the parking lot today to do some demo and start construction. But this is, just gets the project, the financial piece of it, to become viable. It's definitely not a get rich. There's a lot of risk on our part, but I think it's going to be a win-win for, sales tax generation and the project in town, because it's such a key project.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's go to questions. Councilmember Hefta, any questions?
Sure, Mr. Mango. What type of retail establishments do you envision in this space?
So we have the corner space targeted as for a restaurant. We do have a letter of intent agreement with a restaurant operator. We don't have a lease yet, but we have an agreement. Very active. The retail space, if anyone saw that in the back drive-through, that just went on the market this past week. So the first two projects would be the retail in the back and then the restaurant. And then this would be kind of a trigger to start the rest of the property redevelopment because, there's attorneys, there's title companies. We're not going to sit here and kick people out, but highest and best use of real estate will kind of take over. I want to make sure none of them are in the room. But, eventually these would be the trigger, sections of the building on that corner that would probably trigger the rest of the first floor to eventually go retail, as leases come up.
Do you have an idea on any of that retail besides the restaurant?
Any idea as far as tenants or type of retail?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
No, not at this point. Probably, we're going to upsize the grease trap where we could have more food providers if that comes. When you're doing the infrastructure, you might as well do it. But, we're motivated with this agreement to look for high sales tax generating type retailers. So, but nothing specific as far as the rest of the building.
Councilmember Franzen.
My only question is on some of your existing tenants. I think you made a quick comment about the intent is not to kick them out.
Yeah.
But maybe the intent is as leases start to expire. I guess that's not really a question. Maybe I could just asking you to reiterate that intent.
Yeah. So, generally leases remaining probably, 2 to 5 year time frame for other. The restaurant space is basically vacant now. So that's ready to go, and then the new space, the drive-through enclosure, would be ready to go. As those other leases come up in that 2 to 5 year time frame, it's just hard to say, but we would be motivated with this agreement to obviously try to convert those to retail. Again, as an attorney, nothing against attorneys. I think there might be a couple in the room, but attorney's not the highest and best use for a front storefront on Main Street. Now they love being there, but someone's going to kill me after this meeting. But but it's just kind of the first big step to change the use of that whole corner.
Perfect. All right, Councilmember Barrington.
So this building, it's a beautiful building. And it's such an important part of our downtown district. And I think what you are proposing to do here is having said that, do you think you could even pull a project like this off without a program like this?
I'll be honest, since 2019, we looked at the numbers initially, and then COVID hit, so we kind of tabled it, but then we looked, and that's been our struggle the last 2 or 3 years, just the financial piece. Again, because we're converting existing square footage we're already receiving revenue. So this really, the viability of it probably was not viable, and this just pushes it over the line to make it worthwhile. So from a redevelopment standpoint, I think it's a great program, because otherwise this property would probably stay office, indefinitely, which is probably not what everybody wants.
Thanks.
Councilmember Hendricks.
Hey Tony, do you have a rough timeline, like if things move along, like how most of it will be retail?
So the contract with our general contractor, that drive-through would probably be online early summer. It's on the market now. The restaurant construction demo, those plans are being worked on. So probably, we could probably have something there by fall. And then the rest of the retail spaces would that would just be over time. So again, with a contract like this, we're motivated.
Right. Cool. Thank you.
So.
All right. No further questions. Happy to open up to public comment. Anybody for public comment on this item, please approach dais. Seeing none, we will close public comment and bring it back to council for final comments and deliberation. Councilmember Hendricks.
Yeah, I was in favor of helping small business and re-energizing downtown. I also agree that this ask meets the criteria for this tax and fee assistance program, and I'm in favor.
Councilmember Barrington.
If I may interrupt really quickly, Mayor Pro Tem, you do need to close the public hearing as well.
My apologies. Let's close the public hearing at 7:37. Todd, do you want to redo that, or you're good?
I'm in favor.
Okay. Councilmember Barrington.
Yeah, I really appreciate the creative use of a program that was already in existence. And I just really, like I said earlier, I think this could really help activate just a really important part of Main Street. And it's encouraging to see private investment paired with public support to revitalize it's a beautiful older building, but how old is that building? Sorry.
Early 80s,
Okay.
81.
Mm-hmm. But this is going to generate long-term revenue for the town, and so I think it's just a great partnership, and I'm definitely in support also.
Thank you. Councilmember Franzen.
So, I deeply appreciate Mr. Mango's approach to, activate this building. I think this is critical to continuing to create this culture of a downtown and bring people downtown. I'm in full support too. This is not the town is not fronting any money for this. We're reimbursing money that could be earned. We're not earning any money right now as a town on this. And again, I think Todd mentioned too, this meets the criteria of this program.
All right.
That's all.
Thank you. Councilmember Hefton.
Yeah, this supports the bigger goals. Weldy is the Director of Economic Development here in Parker. And so the bigger goal is this. We have a program. It's a legal program. It's the Taxpayers Assistance Program. It's in our ordinance. But what is it really doing? It's supporting the goals of balanced and smart growth here in Parker from an economic perspective. Why are we wanting to do this? Well, we want a vibrant downtown. So this is a property that needs to be updated, and it falls within the legal ability of this program to qualify for this money. So we can enter into a negotiation on this with the developer, Mr. Mango. And Mr. Mango's saying, why are you saying all this? Well, we do have high school students in the audience right now. And so overall, economic development has changed since COVID-19. Now, folks can work from anywhere. They can work from home, especially if they are on a computer. And Parker wants to attract new businesses and industry. You've heard Mr. Mango talk about new restaurants and developments and retail that we would have downtown for our residents here, which is exciting. We want a vibrant downtown. And growth is not something to fear. If your town is growing, it means it's healthy. Things that are growing are healthy. Things that are stagnant, sometimes as you drive across the country, you see stagnant towns. Parker, we're growing. Steady growth, which is smart and balanced, is healthy. We want to maintain a high quality of living for our residents in Parker so they can take their children out to enjoy restaurants and different events in Parker. And we want to develop Parker, our economy, in a steady and balanced way. And I think Weldy's department is bringing this forth because she's a very experienced individual that sees that there's going to be a lot of great value for Parker in this matter with her excellent assistant, Kim, here in the room. Thank you, Weldy.
All right, and just to kind of wrap it up, I think council did a good job. I'm supportive of this. Throughout the years, we've always tried to figure out how to activate, how to create more walkability to downtown. We have some development going on the eastern side, but to Mr. Mango's point, there's a lot of lawyers, a lot of title companies, and council's kind of struggled with how do we incentivize, how do we get those to turn over. And we explored a number of things, but really it just comes down to, is there a willingness of the owner to work with us and our plan and our vision as Parker to create more vibrancy, more alternatives, more sales tax producers, which I think the citizens are looking for, those restaurants, those shops they can go into to create that ability to have those mom and pop type of things, or that quaint downtown area. And this is quite honestly the first time we've gotten into a position to as council partner with a landowner to make this vision a reality. As Councilmember Hefta indicated, it was that there is an opportunity that we have within our ordinances to do so, and it doesn't happen much, but downtown is one of those areas that the vision is something more than what it is, and I think this allows for it to happen. So with that, I'm happy to entertain a motion.
I move to approve the Tax and Fee Assistant Program agreement for Parker Main Street Exchange as part of the regular agenda.
All right.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Barrington, a second by Councilmember Hefta. Councilmember Hendricks, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilmember Barrington?
Yes.
Councilmember Dykes, a yes. Councilmember Franzen?
Yes.
Councilmember Hefta?
Yes.
So we have a 5-0 vote that passes. Thank you very much. And I will
you.
go and get the mayor and Councilmember Wilkes.
Thanks, sir.
Just got to read it in.
All right. Thank you. With that business being concluded, we move on to ordinances, item 7 on your agenda. First up, number 7A, ordinance number 5.28.26 on second reading, a bill for an ordinance to amend Chapter 5.02 of the Parker Municipal Code regarding local festival permits and required warning signage. Chris, take it away.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So if this ordinance is approved, it will amend 2 sections of the Liquor Code. It'll amend Section 5.02.840D, which relates to local festival permits, and also Section 5.02.9.55A, warning signs required. So the first item is changes to 5.02.840D. This change is necessary to align the municipal code with the state liquor code to provide for consistency in language regarding festival permits. This ordinance amends the code to clarify the number of festivals a licensee is allowed to hold in a given period of time. Instead of the current 9 festivals in a 12-month period after the permit is issued, the code needs to be amended to read 9 festival permits during each calendar year. So I'll ask for questions on that.
All right, council questions? Start with Laura.
No,
Very simple.
It's clear, thank you.
No questions.
John?
No questions.
Brandy?
No questions.
Ann?
Couple questions. So instead of going, like being able to have 9 from March to March, now it would have to be 9, or it would be 9 between January and December 31st.
During each calendar year.
Okay. And then, do you think there's going to be any concerns about enforcement or confusion
No,
with this?
no.
Thanks, Chris.
Todd?
No questions.
So the second piece of this is changes to the warning sign, and this warning sign is required to be posted on all premise liquor license establishments. It needs to be amended to provide more clarity for the licensee as well as the customer. This warning sign would be amended to read, "Warning, removal of alcohol beverages from the establishment is prohibited except for sealed recorked Venice beverage or other sealed beverages as allowed by law." This sign is required to be posted at any egress patio gate at on-premise establishments. The warning sign needs to be revised due to the takeout and delivery permit that was established during COVID. The change in the sign language provides more clarity regarding what can be removed from the premise as it relates to an alcohol on-premise establishment. Are there any questions on that?
Todd, reverse order.
No questions, thank you.
Ann?
So, sorry. As long as the alcoholic beverage is closed or has a lid on it,
Has to be sealed.
sealed, so we can still take margaritas out of fuzzies.
Yes, as long as they're sealed, according to state regulation requirements.
That was a big question.
Important question.
Important question.
Brandy? Any questions?
So with the signage change, it's essentially making it more clear and offering more protection for the establishments that are offering the liquor and making it crystal clear to the people that are choosing to make those decisions to take an alcoholic beverage out, correct?
The customer, yes, that's correct.
Perfect, thank you.
John?
No questions.
Eric?
Where does the financial burden fall for those that have to actually replace these signs? Who's paying for it?
So we have a batch made, and then as we do our yearly inspections, we'll have them switch them out.
So the town is covering that cost, is that correct?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Laura?
Is this comment or question?
That's his question.
Okay. I'm okay. I got a statement to make later.
So just one question for me, just for clarity. This is to come in accordance with new state law, correct?
So this is in our ordinance. Yes, you do need some signage, but this is specific, the language is specific to our ordinance.
To our ordinance,
code.
not state law. Okay. Okay. Excellent. We'll go back, comments, reverse order. Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. I caught myself this time. I'm getting better. First off, I would like to open a public comment at 7:49. Anybody from the public wishing to address council on this ordinance? Seeing none, we'll close public comment at 7:49. And now, in reverse order, go to comments. Laura, please.
Well, yeah, we have seen these warning signs in other establishments around the state. So this warning sign is a good warning sign to have in our ordinance. And also, just as an aside for that, in the Colorado Revised Statutes 42-41305, it is a Class A infraction to consume or to have open containers of alcohol or marijuana in the passenger compartment of a vehicle on public roads. So when you leave an establishment, you need to cork that bottle. And then you need to keep that bottle corked in your car, too, as you're bringing it home. Because if you get pulled over by a police officer, you might get a fine for that open bottle. So those kind of laws work together at the local level and then at the state level. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Comments, please.
Simple addition in the language. I am supportive of this.
Thank you, Eric. John?
Yeah, I'm supportive.
Brandy?
Thank you. I appreciate the work. I'm in support.
Ann?
Yeah, it just seems like a smart cleanup, and it makes the code clearer. And I think both licensees and customers are going to know exactly what's allowed now.
And Todd?
I'm in support.
Thank you. With that, council would entertain a motion on said ordinance.
I move to approve ordinance number 5.28.26 on second reading.
Thank you. A second?
I'll second.
I have a motion from Todd. I have a second from Ann. Todd?
Yes.
Ann?
Yes.
Brandy?
Aye.
John?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
And that passes unanimously. Moving on, we have in front of us item 7B, ordinance number 9.247.1 on second reading. A bill for an ordinance approving the amended and restated intergovernmental agreement between the Board of County Commissioners of the County of Douglas, Douglas County School District RE1, Douglas County Libraries, the Town of Castle Rock, the Town of Parker, the City of Lone Tree, the City of Castle Pines, Highlands Ranch Metro District, and the Highlands Ranch Metro District concerning the continued implementation and funding of the Douglas County Youth Initiative Program. Our own town manager, Michelle Kivela, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Now I don't have to say all those names. Appreciate it. So I'm Michelle Kivela, Town Manager, and I am going to just talk real briefly about this amended, updated ordinance. So we've had an IGA with the various organizations in Douglas County for the Youth Initiative since 2005, which is when the organizations, the partners, which all consist of the Partnership of Douglas County Governments, created the Youth Initiative and entered into an IGA to support them. So this IGA has not been updated since 2016, and it was recently initiated by Douglas County to update it, working with the Youth Initiative Director to increase the participation amounts, but also do some general cleanup, clarification. It also resets a few things. So just specifically, it resets the effective date of the IGA because, as I mentioned, it was going on to almost 10 years since we've updated it, as well as it updates the total program amount because that has gone up, which had not been previously reflected, to also have Castle Pines in there. Castle Pines wasn't part of the IGA originally when we first created it and split this, the spread of the funding amounts. Also, there were additional funding amounts contributed by Douglas County and the school district over the years, so it articulates that as well. Those cost-sharing amounts for each of our areas have increased. In Parker's case, it's increased from $19,800 to $25,000. We haven't had an increase in since it was formed in 2005. This was something that I had mentioned at the council budget retreat in October, that we were anticipating that this would go up this year, and have made that accommodation in the budget. And then the last part is that it updates those amounts with everybody else's budget requests that we've done. So that is the gist of it. It did also change, one of the clarification and cleanup points was to change the termination clause from 60 days to 90 days if somebody wants to withdraw from it.
Excellent. Thank you. That will go to questions. John?
No questions.
Eric?
No questions.
Laura?
No questions?
Brandy?
No questions.
Ann?
I've used up my question quota.
And Todd?
I'm good.
All right. Seeing no questions, I will open it up for public comment on ordinance number 9.247.1 at 7:55. Is anybody from the public wishing to address this council? Seeing none, we'll close public comment at 7:55 and move on to to comments. Todd?
I'm in support of this. It's an important partnership, and yeah, so
Ann?
I should clarify for our students in the audience, there really isn't a question quota. But I think this is a great program, and Councilmember Wilkes and Mayor Rivero have been very involved in this program, so I am going to let them have their fair share of the comments.
Brandy?
Yeah, I'm so glad that I got to learn under Mayor Rivero when he was the primary for this, because it just showed me how important it is to have this in our community and how important it is that the municipalities each participate in it and what they really do give back, not just for our youth that are doing well and fantastic, but for our youth that needs support and they need that extra hand up. And so being able to give some more funding into that, I think is just going to do nothing but help. And so I am very grateful for all of the work that's gone into this for our staff as well. So thank you.
Thank you. John?
Yeah, no, I mean, I haven't spent time on this this program, but the reason why is there were passionate people when I served. Josh Martin, Josh Rivero, now Brandy Wilkes. It takes someone special to get motivated, and it's very apparent when they start talking about this program, the passion that they have, and you just know that it's the right person who to be in this position for the town of Parker, to engage the youth and to deliver something purposeful, so they can take that and go forward. And again, supportive of this.
Thank you. Eric?
I'm in support. Nothing to add.
Laura?
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is we're old up here. The youth are our future. They are our future. And the town of Parker supports our youth programs, and this is a county youth program. And we want youth to be supported. We want them to learn about government. We want them to enjoy coming to our meetings and understanding what government does, because government is unique as compared to the way business is done in the corporate world. It's unique. And the more you can learn about local government and how it serves you, the better off you'll be off in the future. So thank you, students, for also coming here tonight.
Thank you. And if I may, a little personal privilege, the Douglas County Youth Initiative is incredibly important to this county. If you heard me earlier when I was announcing what I had done in the past week, one of the things that we talked about was partnership of Douglas County governments. That partnership addressed a need for youth services, and in doing so, the best way to answer that multi-government, governmentally, if you will, is through an initiative, and that's what the Douglas County Youth Initiative was. That was started back in 2008. I chaired it starting in 12, and I was on for 5 or 6 years. Then Jay Carpenter from Lone Tree, now Commissioner Layden, and so it's always the best to serve our community. There are some outward-facing things which I expect you guys to take part in, including the Douglas County Youth Congress at the state capitol. It's an incredible event. It gives you a chance to talk to your elected officials, learn about the laws and whatnot, but also to discuss and argue issues that affect you, as Councilwoman Hefta said, not what we think is best for you. The Douglas County Outstanding Youth Awards, recognizing youth in this county that may have had something traumatic in their lives and have overcome that to the benefit of their peers. Two great things. And then most importantly, behind the scenes is wraparound. And that's where we do the best work. That's where a group of trained individuals, one now with a focus on truancy, goes in and helps youth and their families get over a hump. And sometimes that's all they need. So incredible work, a small price to pay in my opinion, and I'll go to bat on this for $25,000 from this community. Incredible work done for a small price. Council, with that said, I would entertain a motion on said ordinance.
I move to approve ordinance number 9.247.1 on second reading.
I second.
I have a motion from Wilkes and a second from Franzen. Todd?
Yes.
Barrington?
Yes.
And Brandy?
Aye.
John?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
And Laura?
Yes.
And that passes unanimously. Thank you. Soon enough, I appreciate that. Last up in front of us are contracts over $500,000. The contract in front of you today is the Stroh Whiting Project, CIP 23-033, Construction Management, Inspection, and Material Testing. Mr. Klaas, take it away, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Is this thing on? Yeah, it's on. Okay, cool. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm here again to present to you contracts over $500,000, the Stroh Widening Construction Management, Inspection, and Material Testing Contract. Thank you. The Stroh Widening Project consists of widening Stroh Road from J. Morgan Boulevard to Matzenbacher-Crowfoot Valley Road by 2 lanes to the south with a new bridge over Cherry Creek. The project also includes the extension of J. Morgan Boulevard to the south to connect to the South Metro Fire Station. The existing pavement is well past its design life and will be full depth reconstructed within the project limits. On February 18th, Council approved an intergovernmental agreement with Parker Water and Sanitation District, which included reimbursement for an effluent water line installation with this project. On March 13th, bids were opened for the project, and March 24th, Town Council approved the construction contract with F&F Construction, Inc. Oh, it's working now. Am I on the right one? Okay. So here's a vicinity map. We've seen this a whole bunch of times. We're adding turn lane on Crowfoot Valley Road, doing some widening on the west side of Stroh as well. 2 lanes to the south, the extension with a new signalized intersection, J. Morgan, and like I said, new bridge over Cherry Creek. A little bit more background. The Engineering Public Works Department utilizes consultants for construction management, inspection, and material testing services on capital improvement projects. We publicly advertised a request for qualifications on January 10th with a deadline to respond by February 5th. We received responses from 4 consultants. The selection committee reviewed proposals, held interviews with 2 of the firms, and agreed that Alfred Benish was the most qualified firm for this project. Scope of work was negotiated based on the $17 million construction contract, approximately $17 million. Benish will be utilizing a subconsultant for materials testing services, with construction management and inspection services being handled by Benish staff. The cost for these services is $1,299,676. This costs approximately 7.3% of the estimated construction contract, or of the actual construction contract, excuse me. The town has worked with Benish on capital improvement projects in recent years with good results. The town has worked with the lead project team, and we are anticipating a cohesive team as the same team that was worked on the Dransfeld Extension project. The fee proposal from Benish for the material testing, construction management, and inspection services are in line with industry norms and appropriate for the scope of this project. Staff recommends the award of this contract. And I'll open up to any questions.
Thank you. Questions? Start with Brandy.
No questions, thank you.
Ann?
Due to some of the recent road closures, how are we going to keep our residents informed?
We are going to be doing, we're going to add some message boards. So we're going to have some digital message boards on the road before we start construction. I think we're also going to have an informational board. I think we're going to put one over by the Stroh Soccer Park, which kind of details the outline of the project, gives details that way. And then also we're going to get with Andy, and who's a town staff, to send out notifications to the town as well through the newsletters and all that. So they'll be well notified and letting everyone know, and make sure we clearly communicate to the citizens for the project.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Todd?
No questions.
Laura?
No questions, thank you.
Eric?
No questions.
John?
Yeah, Nathan, you said 7.3% is the percentage of this contract relative to the scope of work. You said it's within industry norms. What is the range typically within the industry?
I think on the lower end, I think it's around 6%, I think. And then like on the upper end would be around, 10%, I think is kind of around the range. So this kind of maybe on the lower end of that range, but definitely within the norms for sure.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Thank you. With that, this council would entertain questions. Would entertain public comment. Is there anybody from the public wishing to address town council on this item, contracts over $500,000? Seeing none, we'll close public comment at 8:04 and move on to comments. John?
I mean, this is just one more component. We let out the project here a few weeks ago at least, and this is something needed to make sure that we are continuing down to make sure this project gets constructed. So supportive.
And Eric?
Can you just bring up that summary slide one more time? I think that did a really good job of outlining why this makes sense and why it's supportive. We have experience with Benish. It's been a good experience. We know the team. We had this proposal out to 4 different firms, competitive bids. We selected the best bid. And again, the very end of there, right? It's services are in line with industry norms and appropriate for the scope of this project. So for all those reasons outlined right there, I'm in full support.
Laura?
Again, for our students, towns are responsible for infrastructure. That means roads and fixing those roads and all kinds of things, snow plowing, stormwater, drainage. And our representative here, Nathan, from the engineering department, was telling us about a contract tonight and how there was bidding for different contractors bid on this. And this particular contractor is going to do the work for improving this part of the road in our town. So you probably have never really thought about that, and so I'm giving you something to think about. If your town is healthy and well-maintained, the roads are well-maintained. And so we like to maintain our roads in Parker, and we do that through our Public Works and Engineering Department, and they do that through contracting out to various construction management firms as well. And so thank you very much, Nathan.
Thank you. Brandy?
That was perfectly said, so no additional comments. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for everything. I think this it's a key investment for our infrastructure and, especially with all the growth in that area. So I'm supportive.
And Todd?
I'm in supportive as well.
All right. I would entertain a motion on said contract.
I move to approve the staff recommendation as part of the regular agenda.
Second.
I have a motion from Barrington, a second from Hefta. Todd?
Yes.
Ann?
Yes.
Brandy?
Aye.
John?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
And that also passes unanimously. With nothing else in front of this council, this meeting is adjourned at 8:07. But wait. This is the time, guys.